Welcome back to the Small Business Show, where you get to hear the journey, find the challenge, and create solutions. I'm your host, Lori Brooks, and I thank you so much for joining me today. If you're enjoying the show, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. This week, I had the opportunity to chat with Michelle Lyman, passionate advocate for the clean beauty and wellness, currently representing an innovative holistic brand, Neora. Michelle has a background in the science and engineering field and has a love for a holistic lifestyle where science meets nature. As a New York rep, she specializes in advanced skincare, hair care, and wellness products that align with a modern lifestyle. She's dedicated to serving her customers' needs and enjoys mentoring young entrepreneurs to inspire and foster both personal and professional growth. Michelle, welcome and thank you so much for joining me
It's
today.
so great to be here. I'm so excited that you invited me to join you today.
I am excited to have you, and I'm excited to dive into your entrepreneurial journey. But before we do, I want to rewind the clock a bit. I want to go back to when you were, say, a teenager. I want you to think about a time when maybe an aunt, an uncle, or maybe even a mentor in school would have asked you, what do you want to be when you grow up? Michelle,
Mm.
what was your answer to that question back then?
So what I wanted to be when I grew up, it wasn't perfectly clear. What I knew was in school, I was always really good at science and math. That was something from a young age that I always enjoyed, that I always excelled in. And so as I grew up and I went through high school, I was fortunate enough. I grew up in Peabody, Massachusetts, and I was fortunate enough to actually get a real, I don't know, I had two very, I guess, influential teachers. One was in organic chemistry, which we actually had in
Mm,
high school, shockingly, and one of our math teachers. And I was just so impressed by that and had the skills and I enjoyed it that I just naturally kind of went the direction of engineering. So I don't know
mhm.
that there was something like really deep down that I said, I'm going to be this when I grow up. But my background and my what I enjoyed was in science and engineering, science and math, which led to engineering for my career,
I
which
love that.
then led to other things, which I'm sure we will get to.
You had a couple of things that you appreciated, you enjoyed, you were good at. But there wasn't a clear direction. And that's important because I think there are people who think that entrepreneurs or big business owners come out the gate and as a child know what they want to be or have this
Mhm.
vision or this, massive idea for their entrepreneurial journey. And that's not the truth. Sometimes
No,
it just comes about. It's something that happens that you happen to fall into for one reason or another. I know there are so many entrepreneurs that I've met throughout the years who've even told me they didn't even know what an entrepreneur was. Started the
right?
journey, had never even heard the word until much later.
And what's
So,
interesting too is my dad was self-employed, and that's what it was called
mm,
at the time. Like he started with
yes,
things and then he worked from home, and he was a lighting salesman, and that's just what he did. But it was called self-employed, and
yes.
it wasn't this entrepreneurial, that's what you did kind of thing. It was very different. And my mom was a stay-at-home mom. Then as we got older, she ended up becoming a preschool teacher. So it wasn't part of our language. What was part
Mhm,
of our language of when you finish high school, you go to college. That's what you do. You pick a
mhm,
career and something
mhm,
that you can get paid well for. That was
mhm,
what how I grew up, not
mhm.
necessarily with the entrepreneurial, specifically anyways, mindset, even though that's kind of what my dad was doing. I just didn't
That's
know
so
that then.
funny. Yeah, exactly. And that's probably where the entrepreneurial bug, of course, bit you without you even recognizing it. It was the recognition that he was in control of his journey, regardless as to what that journey was. It was
Mhm.
something he owned wholly. It is funny how we're taught you finish school, you get a great job, you retire with a pension, so forth and so on. But in this
Mhm.
day and age, those positions aren't necessarily as readily available or as abundant as they once were way back
Yes.
when our parents were telling us those things.
Mhm.
And in 2024, it's so important to have multiple income streams, multiple
Absolutely.
ways to support yourself. And that's one of the reasons why I'm super excited to have you on the show today. So, share with us how your career was evolving and then what that moment was that inspired or sparked the moment of you recognizing that there may be more to your journey than this particular position or career path.
Yeah, absolutely. So I went to school for engineering at UMass Amherst, or the zoo as we called it back then. And had my natural progression in that career that led to project management. I've been in the medical device industry pretty much my whole career. And a couple of months ago, actually, I was laid off from that particular job. But what led
Mhm.
me down the path of adding in another stream of income, as you put it, was because of my science mind. A friend of mine actually introduced a brain health supplement to me
Mhm.
years ago. I think it was around 2015 or 2016, somewhere in that neighborhood. She introduced a brain health supplement to me from a brand called Miura. And even before that, she introduced a night cream to me because that was the first ever product that they had marketed. And that's the only product that they had for 2 years. So she shared that with me. I was not big into skincare at the time. So I'm like, what, that's fine. I tried it. I didn't love it, to be quite honest. So just keeping it real. She's a health coach. And then she introduced the brain health supplement. And what I
Mhm.
loved about that, and I also appreciated about the night cream, even though I didn't know the power of it, and I did fall in love with it, by the way, so we'll talk about that. But the brain health supplement was 20 years of development at Princeton University. There was
Mhm.
science behind it, there was meaning behind it. And at that point, it's like, well, who doesn't need a brain health supplement that wants to make sure that you have the good focus and memory and recall and all the things? So that was something that was the first ever product that I fell in love with. So that's how I started my Neora journey. And then
Mhm.
it led to our skincare. And then it led to our hair care. And then it kept leading to more and more of what they kept launching. And it was all backed by science. So it was very much in alignment with how my brain worked about making sure that things have science behind it, make sure things actually work, make sure things are clean ingredients. So I was very much into all of that. And
Mhm.
also something that helps people, because what the medical device industry and why I was drawn to it in the first place is it helps people. You develop products that help people. And that's exactly what all of the Neora products do. They help people. They help to transform your skin, your hair, your wellness. And so it just naturally aligned. And during the pandemic is when I finally realized that I'm using all the things. So why am I, and I love to share with others. So why am I not getting paid for that? so so I decided it was time to earn my product for free, earn a little extra on the side. And then during the pandemic, I think a lot of people recognized and realized the power of
Mhm.
online businesses and e-commerce in general. And I mean, it took off. It had been taking off already, but now there was a bigger recognition of how
Mhm.
valuable that can be and how you can easily just you can make money from your phone, from anywhere. And so it just sort of like kind of mushroomed out of that. It wasn't necessarily like you were talking about when I was a child, this is what I knew I wanted to do. It just sort of fell into my lap and
Mhm.
made a lot of sense. And it's just too much fun to be able to do this for other people, to make a difference for them and to get a little extra income on the side.
I love how clear you were with how the journey just came about. It just
Mhm.
came about because of the passion that you had for just helping other people. You were already enjoying these products. In the beginning, you weren't crazy at first about it, and you were kind of questioning whether or not this was the right cream for you. And we do that with products, and then we come back to them randomly at times and might test them again. And so I love that you gave that natural evolution of how New York came into your field of
Mhm.
vision, how it was you were introduced to it, and how it was just this natural thing that made sense for you. Why would you not begin earning an income, gain free products with this product that you already love, already have a passion for, and are already telling other people about as
Right.
it just made sense. And sometimes that's how the journey just kind of shows
Yeah,
up.
just it falls into place. And I think the key too is being in alignment with your own core values.
Mhm.
I'm big on integrity, you know, do what you say what you do. And what resonated with me, not just the products transforming my skin and hair and all of that, which it has, but the company's values. It's a family-owned business. They care. I actually have met the CEO and his daughter, who is now the president of the company. They know me by name. Like it's just this family feel and people that care. You'll see that it says Big Brothers, Big Sisters. They're one of the largest donators and sponsors and partners of Big Brother, Big Sisters. So they have that philanthropic aspect. Just all of the things, just kind of the stars aligned as far as who do you want to partner with a company, not only when you're using the products, but then you realize that partnership, how that makes a difference in your life as something, as a brand that you want to represent and share with others.
Mhm.
So that was definitely a huge component to me of having it feel right and being comfortable sharing it with others.
Definitely. There's no way to have confidence in a product if you're not comfortable and happy and really enjoying the product itself for yourself. It
Right.
has to feel right. And that is
Right.
something that I think we don't necessarily highlight all the time in this journey is the feeling you get
Mm-hmm.
when the journey aligns and works for you.
Right.
There's this energy that just picks up and it carries you through whatever the hiccups, headaches, and
Right.
that might show up in the journey because there is this drive that you've gotten from
Mm-hmm.
having that sort of alignment. So thank you
Exactly.
for bringing that up. I'd love to know as you made this transition from science and engineering industry into the clean health and wellness space. What do you feel were some of the initial actions that you really took to begin establishing yourself in the industry? And what do you think really helped you in doing so?
Well, well, the beauty of doing this is you're never alone. So having a support team was huge. So the person who is a very dear friend of mine who introduced the products to me, having her by my side, having others that are local and even those that are not available to me whenever I had questions. So it's just a matter of getting started. And
Mhm.
the key is going outside of your comfort zone, almost not going to come out right, but doing what you're told. So we have a system, so they help guide you through the system. I'm pretty tech savvy, so I would just go into our app and just start learning and consuming the information. So I would learn about the products beyond just using them. That helped me a lot, and personal development. So the one beauty of network marketing or direct sales, whatever, however you want to look at it, is the emphasis and focus on personal development. And I don't think that's unique to Neora. I think I hear that a lot in the industry overall, is you learn so much about yourself. And you don't have to be perfect, you just have to do it. And you earn as you learn, or learn as you earn. So just be messy, just be yourself, just try different things, and you learn and grow that way. And I've learned and grown a ton just by entering into something that was completely new to me. And that's the nice thing too. There are so many different types of people. Pretty much anybody can do it if they want to do it. It's not unique to me, it's not unique to you. Anybody can do it if they have the alignment with the brand that they're partnering with. And there are a lot of choices out there. Neor is not the only one. There's a lot out there, but finding the brand that you resonate with, that the products are
Mhm.
impactful for you, is really where it's at. And having a good support team makes a huge difference. So I'm very grateful that I have a really supportive community. And it's even the community aspect that is a huge component to what makes it so much fun, is the friendships that you end up creating that you would not ordinarily. Like, I have friends all over the country. I have friends in Canada and Mexico and like all over the place, purely because I chose to do this online business.
That's so
Huge.
true. As an entrepreneur, you have the opportunity to meet so many people as
Mhm.
you're moving through event after event and grow that community around you. And that's one of the biggest pieces on this journey, making sure that you're surrounding yourself with the right people. And if you're
Yes.
not spending time with people that are supportive of this journey, understanding of this journey, it's
Hmm.
not necessarily going to deter you or ruin the journey, but it can slow you down and
Right.
it can make this journey heavy. So definitely
Yeah. And
making sure
positivity.
that,
Like I
oh,
find, and since I haven't really been part of other network marketing companies, at least in
mhm,
this capacity, this was my first real, I'm doing this, and
yes,
this is actually a business for me. So the positivity, the support, the community. So it's not just the money. And oftentimes that's like sort of, it's just comes along for the ride. But all of the other things that you get out of doing something like this is just amazing.
the entrepreneurial journey in and of itself is enormous. So to have an entire community of entrepreneurs by your
Right.
side can only be
Yes,
that much more powerful. So I'd love
absolutely.
for you to tell us more about Neora. You mentioned that they are the biggest sponsors of Big Brothers and Big Sisters. So please share a bit more about the company with us.
Absolutely. So Neora has been around for almost 13 years. And as I mentioned, it's a family-owned business started by the CEO is Jeff Olson, who wrote the book, The Slight Edge. And if you haven't read that yet, highly recommend it. That book is the reason that my direct sponsor, my friend who introduced it to me, the reason she joined the company is when she heard that he was the one who was starting this company, she said, I'm in, because she already knew about the book and read the book. He started it. He came out of retirement to start it. He's super successful in many
Mhm.
other direct selling businesses and other types of businesses. And he started it with his daughter. She had owned a med spa before and recognized that the products and the things that were out there were complicated, too many steps, too expensive, and just not what she wanted. So they were on a journey to find multifunctional products that actually worked at a price point that added value and is affordable. So so the first product, I just have my little, some of them, not the entire product line, but this bottle of night cream was the first product that they ever had. And the amount of bottles that they sold in the first 2 years, this is what grew the company. I believe it
Mm,
was $100 million in 2 years or something. It was like astronomical. So
right.
this was the first bottle, and this bottle of night cream is like having 5 different products all in one. We like to call it Botox in a bottle,
Ooh.
because that's what it's like. You won't need Botox if you use the night cream. So that was the first ever product. The other one that has been featured in many different magazines. It is a celebrity favorite as well, sold over 4 million bottles, and is our firming cream,
Mm,
aka liquid Spanx. So that, I mean, the products are amazing. And what I'll say about the firming cream, I have sensitivities to different smells
yeah,
and fragrances because a lot of the chemicals.
the same.
And this is the only body lotion that I've ever been able to use and
Mhm.
enjoy. It's not sticky at all. It gets rid of, tightens tones, gets rid of cellulite. It's no joke that this stuff is like amazing. So those are, a couple of my favorites and surprising. Like, I fell in love with the night cream eventually, because what I didn't like, I realized, is why it works. It feels like a mask on your face, so it feels a little
Mhm.
tight. Well, it's tightening. It's tightening at night. It's
Mhm.
it's keeping the moisture in your skin at night and protecting it against the pillow that you're sleeping on. So that's why it feels that way. It just was not something I was used to. So now I can't live without it. So this is going to be a game changer and a market disruptor. This skinny little bottle here is our 3-in-1 lash and brow serum. So what a lot of people don't necessarily know, and why I'm so passionate about these products, is there are harmful ingredients in some of the other ones that are out there. They're called prostaglandins and prostaglandin analogs, and they mimic hormones, which you don't want. And with the teenagers these days, like loving their skincare and going to Ulta and Sephora, they need to be mindful of what's in their product, so it's not actually disrupting their skin, because teenagers especially, their skin is thinner and they don't need all the extra products that they may think they need. So our 3-in-1 lash and brow serum, hormone free, prostaglandin free, oil free. So the big boom of lash extensions and all of that, because I mean during COVID you focus on your eyes, right? So it's a big deal, but this can be used with lash extensions as well. So this is going to be total game
Wow.
changer. So what drew me to Neora, the core values, the fact that they, love to help others with their products, and because they're family owned and not public, then their alliance is to their brand partners. They do what's right for us and what's right for the products. They will not launch anything too quickly because they want it to be right. But I mean, those are my
Wow.
results from the lash serum.
Wow.
And let's see if I can easily find for you just an example of our liquid Spanx firming cream, because it's just like mind
But I
blowing.
may put that on subscription soon.
We actually have a 90-day challenge. So every 90 days, customers, brand partners, anybody can submit their results pictures and have an opportunity, a chance to win up to $3,000.
Nice.
Every single 90 days they do this challenge. And one of my dear friends who's also a customer won $3,000 for her hair care results. So
Nice.
it's just the things that they do, the products kind of speak for themselves, and I absolutely love them. So I'm just going to highlight 2 other products just because people don't necessarily think of this when it comes to your skin. But we take a holistic approach. So not only what you put on your skin, because it's the biggest organ, but what you put in your body can actually help your skin as well. So until Friday, so it's, pretty quick, but we have deals all the time. These 2 products, one is a collagen that also helps with hair, skin, and nails. This one is a superfood antioxidant drink that's 4 to 5 servings of fruit and veggies. So it's great for the kids too, a great way to get vegetables in. But this is how you drink your skincare. You drink this and you're going to notice it with your hair, skin, and nails. So it'll help the brightness of your skin. It also will help for hair growth, along with our scalp treatment. So it's just, we take the whole body approach. What can you do from the inside? What can you do from the outside? But yes, as you can tell, I'm a little passionate about my products.
And it speaks volumes to the company itself for the passion that you exude over the products. You've
Mhm.
made me excited over testing out several of these products at this point. I can't wait. So I'd love to know if you had the opportunity to go back, say 10, 15 years and tell yourself just one thing, what do you think that would be at this point?
I would say to focus on personal development and go outside your comfort zone. What's the harm in trying? There's no harm in trying. And had I known even back, like say in 2016, when I was first introduced to the products, had I known what would evolve by jumping in and starting to earn my products for free then versus waiting. But the universe wanted it to be in this time, so it's all good. But yeah, go outside your comfort zone, take the chance, do the personal development, and definitely focus on having multiple streams of income. You never know what's going to happen.
Mhm.
And I'm grateful for the fact that my parents instilled in me to make sure I have plenty of savings and things like that. So when the eventualities do happen, that you're prepared. So that I had already learned, but really to focus in on, personal development, giving things a try, and there's no harm in it.
There's
It's
absolutely
only
no harm
reward.
in trying or testing anything exactly. So I
Mhm,
thank you for sharing that. Definitely looking at yourself, taking that time to look inwards, doing that personal, that
mhm,
self-work is definitely something that everybody has to do at some point. And then
mhm,
when you do it and it helps you to align with something of this sort, that just makes you soar and much that much brighter on a daily basis. There's
mhm,
nothing that you can do but be excited over a
mhm,
journey that takes that sort of a turn. So if you
mhm.
had the ability to wave a magic wand and change something in the holistic health and wellness space, what do you feel like you would want to change?
Well, what I would love to change, or not so much change, but more educate, is around the importance of ingredients. And the interesting part is in the clean beauty industry, the word clean means different things depending on where you go. If you go to Ulta, it's going to mean a certain thing of what they don't include in their products, and that means clean. Sephora, same thing. Neora is different. We take all of that combined, but being an informed consumer, the most important thing is make sure you know what you're actually putting on and in your body, because ingredients matter. The other thing that I will say is when you find an ingredient on a label, it can be sprinkled in with like pixie dust and they can put it on the label. So making sure that the ingredients that you have are actually at the right concentration to be meaningful and get the
Mm.
results that you want. So I think that's what differentiates us, is by having clean ingredients by European standards, which we know is different than in the US. So being mindful of what is in your products is super important, and finding ones that aren't just clean but also work. So I wouldn't necessarily change anything. I feel like what I would love to see someday is that we're focused on wellness,
Mm.
so that some of these supplements and things of that sort that we have would actually be something we can use our FSA accounts for, and be more integrated into healthcare. I would love to see more of that. We do have a lot of doctors and nurses in this business that share a lot of our products with their patients. So that's really nice to see, is that it can make a difference in so many more people.
I
Mhm,
definitely had never even considered something of that sort. And that's exactly why this segment of the show exists, because you never know what's going to spark an idea for
mhm.
somebody else, what's going to spark that journey, what might inspire that journey. So, Michelle, I thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. You've been absolutely outstanding. Please share the best way for our viewers to find you.
The best way to find me is I am on Facebook. I am on Instagram. My Instagram handle is Michelle Lyman 23. 23 is my lucky number. And you can easily find me if you just search Michelle Lyman, you'll find me. My website is michellyman.neora.com. So you can also find me there. And one thing I'll leave you with is, if you go to, say, Macy's or the drugstore and buy your products, you're not going to get the same customer service. When you buy from Neora and you buy from me, you get me with the product. Just saying. I'm going to
You
help
can't
you
beat that.
find the best option for you, the best value for you. I'm going to help and guide, make sure you're getting the results that you want. So just something to keep in mind when you buy from a company that's a direct selling company. I can only speak for Neora, like I said, because I don't have experience with the others, but you get a person behind the product.
That's amazing. And that's not something you find in the beauty industry on a regular basis. You find a
No.
bunch of products that are pink, pretty, and fit in my purse. And that's about it.
Right.
So the
And you
idea,
don't always you don't always know. And honestly, like if you walk into Sephora, there's so many choices and
exactly.
they don't have an easy way to segregate and say these
That's right.
products that the teens should not be buying. Like it's
That's
not
right.
up to them. It's not their responsibility. It's more around the consumer being educated, the parents being educated on
Mm.
what's right for your skin and for your child's skin, things like that. So that's, the beauty of doing this as well is that you can ask those questions. You can make sure you're getting what you need and the right things and have that support.
Without standing in a store and harassing the sales rep who's probably not going to have any answers for you in the first place about the product.
Right.
So
They're
when
not.
you're exactly. So when you're working with a brand like Nora, you're really getting that personal guidance along with the products to
Mhm.
help you make the proper choices and help you move forward in your health and wellness journey. So Michelle, you've been outstanding. I will be sure to include your links on the show notes page along with your IG handle and
Like,
also the before and after pictures.
right.
Thank you so much for being here today.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure to be on your show, and I'm so glad we got a chance to have this conversation.
Definitely. I'm excited that we had the opportunity to connect. I'm excited to have had you as a guest, and I look forward to chatting again very soon.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.